Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students of entrepreneurship class, welcome everyone to Al-Isra University e-learning. In this presentation, I will talk about ethics and social responsibility, doing the right thing. It's chapter 2 in our textbook. In this chapter, we will be able to define business ethics and describe the 3 levels of ethical standards to determine who is responsible for ethical behavior and ethical lapses occur, and why ethical lapses occur. Explain how to establish and maintain high ethical standards. Explain the difference between social entrepreneurs and traditional entrepreneurs. In this presentation, I will be presenting and explaining about these 4 points. In the next presentation, I will proceed to the other remaining points. Okay. Ethical behavior. Business ethics involves the moral values and behavioral standards that business people draw on and as they make decisions and solve problems. The business ethics involves moral values and behavioral standards people draw on as they make decisions and solve problems. It originates in a commitment to do what is right. So, ethical behavior, doing what is right as opposite to what is wrong. The entrepreneur's personal values begin to shape the business from day one. From the first day of launching the business, the entrepreneur's personal values can shape the business from the first day. Entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs' personal values and beliefs influence the way that they lead their companies and are apparent in every decision they make, every policy they write, and every action they take. The personal values of entrepreneurs influence the way they lead their companies, and it appears in the decision-making process, policy, and every action they take. There may be conflicting interests among the company's stakeholders. Stakeholders include the various groups and individuals who affect and are affected by a business. So the interests of those stakeholders may be a conflict each other to achieve some goals different about others. So it is important to consider the perspective or the perspectives of different stakeholders when we need to take a decision or write a policy, because of the standard of ethics must be accepted by all stakeholders. as we can see here, the stakeholders, external stakeholders and internal stakeholders. The external, unions, family, customers, special interest groups, and suppliers, creditors, government, community, and general public. The internal stakeholders, external investors, employees, company founders, and managements. When making decisions, entrepreneurs often must balance the need and demand of companies' stakeholders, different group of stakeholders, knowing that whatever the final decision is, not all groups will be satisfied. So, when making the decision, we need to balance the needs and demands of all different stakeholders, internal and external stakeholders. And a point must be taken in consideration. Whatever the final decision is, not all groups will be satisfied. Okay. What is the meaning of ethics and social responsibility? Ethics is a branch of philosophy that studies and creates theories about the basic nature of right and wrong, duty, obligation, and virtue. It's a branch of philosophy that studies and creates theories about the basic nature of right and wrong, duty, obligation, and virtue. Social responsibility, how an organization responds to the needs of the many elements in society, how the society can benefit from the organization, what kind of benefits of services the company or organization deliver to keep the society and the environment clean, green, and the whole society is healthy. So the business ethic, the fundamental moral values and behavioral standards that form the foundation for the people of an organization as they make decisions and interact with stakeholders. So here's some maintaining an ethical perspective is essential to creating and protecting a company's reputation, but it is not easy. Maintaining an ethical perspective is not easy. It is essential, but not easy. While building an ethical reputation takes a long time, destroying that reputation can happen quickly. So, ethics is not easy to build ethical perspective. It takes a long time to build ethical reputation. However, destroying this reputation can happen quickly. So, business ethics is the fundamental moral values and behavioral standards that form the foundation for the people of an organization as they make decisions and interact with stakeholders. There are 3 levels of ethical standards. The law, the policies and procedures, and the morality. The law defines what is permissible and what is not permissible. The law is the narrowest level of ethical standards. It's the narrowest level of ethical standards. The law merely establishes the minimum standard of behavior. It establishes the minimum standards of behavior. It is the actions that are legal, however, may not be ethical. Actions that are legal, however, may not be ethical. It is not necessary all actions must be legal and ethical at the same time. Actions that are legal may not be ethical. So the law is the narrowest ethical standard. It establishes the minimum standard of behavior. This is the law. The second level is organizational policies and procedures. It is specific guidelines for people as they make daily decisions. The organizational policies and procedures are specific guidelines for people as they make daily decisions. The third and the border level is the moral or morality. The moral stance that employees take when they encounter a situation that is not governed by levels 1 and 2. So it's an action that the employees face or encounter, and this action is not governed by the law or the organizational policies and procedures. It is the broadest and most fundamental definition of ethical standards. Remember, when we talk about the law is the narrowest level of ethical standards. But the morality is the broadest and most fundamental definition of ethical standards. The values people learn early in life at home, from their religion, in the communities they were raised, in school and at work, are key ingredients at these levels. So the morality is the broadest definition of ethical standards. It is the value that people learn early in life at home, religious group, community, school, or at work. These are the 3 levels of ethical standards. There are 3 ethical styles of management. 3 ethical styles of management, including immoral management, amoral management, and moral management. What is the difference between these 3 styles? Immoral management, managers are motivated by selfish reasons, primarily greed. This is immoral management. Managers are motivated by selfish reasons, primarily greed. Amoral management, managers are motivated to earn a profit and neglect to consider the impact of their decision have on others. So here the most important is to earn profit regardless other impact or the impact of their decision on others. Moral management, managers strive to success, but only within the boundaries of legal and ethical standards. Clear? Managers in moral management strive for success, but only within the boundaries, the lines of legal and ethical standards. These are the three ethical styles of management: immoral, amoral, and moral management style. What are the benefits of moral management style? Companies avoid the damaging from unethical behavior on their reputation. So the one benefit of moral management, that companies avoid the damaging from unethical behavior of their reputation and their image of the company. Dealing with the stakeholders is much easier if a company has a solid ethical foundation on which to build. So the other benefit is dealing with the stakeholders is much easier when the management is moral. Another benefit is it is easier to attract and retain quality workers. When the management of our company is moral management style, it is easier to attract and retain quality workers. Another benefit, it has a positive impact on a company's bottom line. It has a positive impact on a company's bottom line, people and profit and so on. It has also an impact on a company's ability to provide value for its customer. It has an impact on a company's ability to provide value for its customers. These are the benefits of moral management style. Why be ethical? Why we need to be ethical? Top 5 reasons to run a business ethically. It protects brand and company reputation. It protects the good image of the company reputation. It is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Maintain customers' trust and loyalty. It also maintains customers' trust and loyalty. Additionally, maintain investors' confidence. The confidence of investors, we can keep it by to be ethical behavior or ethical management. It earns public acceptance and recognition. It also earns public acceptance and recognition. These are the 5 reasons to run a business ethically. Okay, what are the top 5 factors that drive business ethics? The factors that drive business ethics: corporate scandals is the first factor. Marketplace competition, another factor. Demands by investors and pressure from customers, and globalization. These are factors that top 5 factors that drive business ethics. Now we will know and explain how to establish ethical framework. There are many steps. These are 5 steps to establishing an ethical framework. The first step is to identify the personal, moral, and ethical principles that shape all business decisions. Identify the personal, moral, and ethical principles that shape all business decisions. Entrepreneurs build the foundation for making ethical decisions by understanding how their personal values come to life in business situations. The second step is recognize the ethical dimensions involved in the dilemma or decision. Recognize the ethical dimensions involved in the decision. Before entrepreneurs can make informed ethical decisions, they must recognize that an ethical situation exists. Only then it is possible to define the specific ethical issues involved. Okay, the third step is to identify the key stakeholders involved and determine how the decision will affect them. Before making a decision, managers must sort out the conflicting interests of the various stakeholders by determining which ones have important stakes in the situation. And here we can measure the triple bottom line, 3BL. 3BL, measuring business performance using profitability, ethics, and social responsibility. Ethics and social responsibility and its impact on the environment, profit, people, and planet. Measuring business, the triple 3BL is measuring business performance using profitability, commitment to ethics and social responsibility, and its impact on the environment, profit, people, and the planet. So the third step is to identify the key stakeholders involved and to determine how the decision will affect them. Yes, in the same step, we also can measure business performance using profitability, commitment, and triple 3 line 3BL. The fourth step is generate alternative choices and distinguish between ethical and unethical responses. In this step, when entrepreneurs are generating alternative courses of action and evaluating the consequences of each one, they can use the questions in table to guide them. Please refer to page to see the table and some examples of questions that we can use to evaluate the consequences of actions. Refer to page number 68 in the textbook to see an examples of the questions that can be used to evaluate an action. The fifth step is to choose the best ethical response and implement it. Comparing these choices to the ideal ethical outcome may help managers make the final decision. After comparing or by comparing these responses or these choices can help managers to take or make the final decision. The final choice must be consistent with the company's goals, culture, and value system, as well as those of individual decision makers. These are the 5 steps of establishing an ethical framework. Okay. Now let's talk about the causes of ethical lapses. What are the main reasons of ethical lapses? An unethical employee. Maybe the employee itself, or the employee himself, must maybe unethical. So his behavior must be reflect his values and his culture, and will affect the behavior of organization as a whole. An unethical organizational culture. The culture of the entire organization rewards employees for unethical behavior. Moral blindness. Sometimes ethical people make unethical blunders because they are blind to the implications of their conduct. So moral blindness is another cause of ethical lapses. Competitive pressure also maybe, or another cause or another reason is a competitive pressures. Managers and employees are under such pressure to produce that they may sacrifice their ethical standards to reduce the fear of failure or the fear of losing their jobs. So when the competitive is much stronger, maybe this can affect the ethical standard of the organization. Another reason, opportunity pressures. When the opportunity to get ahead is taking some unethical actions presents itself, some people cannot resist the temptation. So when there is an opportunity, maybe this may be a cause to do or behave unethically. When there is some opportunity or good opportunity, maybe the managers or employees carry on and strive to get this opportunity quickly. So maybe they can behave unethically to get this opportunity. Another reason is the globalization of business. Companies have discovered no single standard. In globalization, there is no single standard of ethical behavior applies to all business decisions in the international arena. Practices that are illegal in one country may be perfectly acceptable, even expected in another. So working in globalization can maybe reduce the ethical standards because there is no single standard, and practices that are illegal in one country may be accepted and perfectly acceptable in another country. So globalization also can another cause or another reason for unethical behavior. Okay, these are the causes, 6 causes of ethical lapses. Now let's talk about the features of ethical cultures. Ethics research reveals features of ethical cultures. In ethical cultures, leaders support and model ethical behavior. Consistent communication comes from all companies or company leaders. This is the features of ethical cultures. Ethics is integrated into the organization's goals, business process, and strategies. It is integrated system and included ethics with goals, business process, and strategies. Ethics is part of the performance management system. Also, one feature is ethics is part of performance management system. Ethics is part of the company's selection criteria and selection process. This is to keep an ethical employees. The needs of various stakeholders are balanced when making decisions, and a strong set of core values supports the vision and mission of the company. The company maintains a long-term perspective on all decisions. These are the features of ethical cultures. Establishing and maintaining ethical standards. Ethical tests for judging behavior. Although small business may not have a formal ethics programs, entrepreneurs can encourage employees to become familiar with the following ethical tests for judging behavior. The first standard is the utilitarian principle. The utilitarian principle, it chooses the option that offers the greatest good for the greatest number of people. According to this standard, the utilitarian principle choose the option that offers the greatest good for the greatest number of people. The Kant's categorical imperative acts in such a way that the action taken under the circumstance could be a universal law or rule of behavior. So your action could be universal law or rule of behavior. The professional ethic take only those actions that disinterested panel of professional colleagues would view as appropriate. Take only those actions that a disinterested panel of professional colleagues would view as appropriate. The golden rule, according to the golden rule standard, treat other people the way you would like them to treat you. Treat other people the way you would like them to treat you. The television test. Would you feel comfortable explaining your actions to a national television audience? So imagine you explaining your actions to national television audience. The family test. Would you be comfortable explaining to your children, your spouse, and your parents why you took this action? So these are the ethical standards that you can generate your actions on them. Principles to guide ethical behavior. There are many principles to guide ethical behavior. The first one is honesty. Honesty, integrity, promise keeping, Promise keeping. Actually, there are 10 ethical principles. Refer to page number 72 in our textbook. Honesty, integrity, promise keeping, fidelity, fairness, caring for others is another principle, respect for others, and responsible citizenship, and pursuit of excellence, and finally accountability. These are 10 ethical principles to guide the person's behavior. Honesty, integrity, promise keeping, fidelity, fairness, caring for others, respect for others, responsible citizenship, pursuit of excellence, and accountability. Maintaining ethical standards. How to maintain ethical standards? Set the tone. Remember that ethics starts at the top. At the top of the organization is the starting point of ethics. If entrepreneurs and their managers talk about the importance of ethics and then act in an ethical manner, they send mixed signals to employees. So remember that ethics starts from the top level of the organization. Create a company credo. Company credo is a statement that defines the values underlying the entire company and its ethical responsibilities to its stakeholders. So to maintain ethical standards, set the tone and create a company's credo. It's a statement that defines the values underlying the entire company and its ethical responsibilities to its stakeholders. Establish high standards of behavior. Establish high standards of behavior. It is essential to emphasize to everyone in the organization the importance of ethics. All employees must understand that ethics is not negotiable. Okay? Another element is involve employees in establishing ethical standards, because involving employees improve the quality of company's ethical standards and increases the likelihood of employee compliance. Involve employees in establishing ethical standards and create a culture that emphasizes two-way communication. Employees must have the opportunity to report any ethical violations they observe. So two-way communication culture is good for reporting ethical violations and observations. Another element is eliminate undiscussable. It is important to instill the belief that it is acceptable for employees to question what happens above them. So this culture is good. You can accept employees to question what happens above them. Develop a code of ethics. Code of ethics is a written statement. Of the standards of behavior and ethical principles a company expect from its employees. So develop a code of ethics is a written statement that contains standards and behavior of ethical principles the company expects from its employees. Enforce the code of ethics through policies. Through policies, set appropriate policies for your organization, and recruit and promote ethical employees. Recruit and promote ethical employees. Hiring people with strong moral principles and values is the best insurance against ethical violations, because when keeping employees with strong moral principle, the actions will be more ethical behavior. And this includes ethical commitment, ethical consciousness, and ethical competency. Okay, another element or to maintain ethical standard is to conduct ethics training. Ethics training programs not only raise employees' awareness of ethical issues, but also communicate to employees to the core of the company's value system. So you can conduct ethics training programs for employees. Reward ethical conduct. If you reward a behavior, people have a tendency to repeat this behavior again more and more. So reward ethical conduct. Separate related job duties. Separate the related job duties and perform periodic ethical audits. One of best way to evaluate the effectiveness of an ethics system is to perform periodic ethical or systematic ethical audits. Here is the last point I will explain in this presentation is social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship. Whereas traditional entrepreneurs seek opportunities to create market value, this is traditional entrepreneurs, there is a growing trend to use entrepreneurship to pursue opportunities to create social values. So there is a traditional entrepreneur and social entrepreneurs. Social entrepreneurs seek social entrepreneurship can be characterized by the social entrepreneur is seek solutions for social problems that are met by neither the market nor the government. So the social entrepreneurs seek solutions for social problems that are met by neither the market nor the government. Focus on creating social benefits rather than commercial success. The social entrepreneurs focus on creating social benefit rather than commercial success. And finally, social entrepreneurs tackle social problems by taking full advantage of natural market forces. Social entrepreneur tackle social problems by taking full advantage of natural market forces. That's all for this presentation and this lecture. In the next presentation, we will start with social responsibility, and we will explain about the meaning and the remaining part of this chapter, starting by social responsibility. Thank you so much for listening, and see you later.